get ready to rumble!
Welcome along, everyone. Saturday afternoon here in the UK, just after 2:30, just after 9:30 Eastern in the States. My name's Nick, aka Alfred from Batman. Welcome along to the Shank Club NFL usual Saturday session. Got some good guests coming in, talking a lot of football. Got some birthdays to get to that I've been sent, and Izzy, if everyone saw her last week, she told me if I didn't shout out these people before we started, she was going to fly across the pond and kick my nuts. So I'm going to do a few quick happy birthdays. Michael Ing, welcome in, sir. First time in here, I see. Welcome along. So we've got Mike NY to the Bay and Denise Granger on Twitter, both 49ers fans. That's their birthday on Monday. And last but not least, Crystal Peachy B is her birthday today. I think she's hitting the big 40. Yeah, no, 49. Is it 49? 40. 4940. I'll give her the benefit and say 40 because she does look young for her age. But if it's 49, even better. Everyone's happy. Right, I've got that out of the way. She's not going to come and kick my ass, which is good because Joyzy, you don't trust those Joyzy people. Right, let's get it on. She's 49. Thanks, Michael. Right, let's go. Bring in my usual co-host. He's not hungover today. He's fighting fit and ready to go. Carl, good afternoon, mate. How are you?
Good afternoon, buddy. Yeah, it's been, I'm a lot better than what I was last week. But, yeah, I've had a really, really good week. All of the AFC North got completed. So it's just been really, really good this week. A real good fun time. Got to see the Patriots play on Thursday night against the Eagles. And yeah, looking forward to watching some more preseason action and talking on all our teams, including the 49ers.
Yeah, I believe there is an early preseason game on this evening, 6 o'clock, I think, in the UK, isn't there?
Bills at the. I think it's Bills at the Bears. I could be. It's those two teams, but it could be either way. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
I think it's Bills at Bears.
And nice to see Agent Mo's nose in the chat. It is 49. So I was being nice to Peachy. So I will say she is 49 today, not 40. So yeah,
never get a women's age. Never get a women's age wrong.
But I was on the right side. If I'd have said she was 49 and she was actually 40, she would have kicked my ass. But at least I was the right side this time. I didn't insult anyone.
Too true.
So that's good. That's good. Now, coming back off the Millennium Falcon for a brief visit, people said that since Han Solo died that he'd gone off to the galaxy and was never to be seen again. But I said, no, I know I can get Chewbacca back in the building. Our resident UK Colts fan, Harrison, how are you, sir?
Thanks for that cracking intro. I'm really good. Back with the Shank Club and the Shank Club faithful. It's nice Saturday afternoon.
We keep you out of trouble. I mean, what else would you be doing? Shopping with the missus, you know, that sort of thing. At least it gets you out of doing that sort of thing, right? So it's always good. It's always good. So glad to have you along. We're going to get your takes, obviously, on what's been going on in the Colts kingdom. I haven't seen any updates on injuries and stuff, so you can fill us with that if you've heard anything, etc. And also now we're going to bring on someone whose daughter obviously takes on his wife because she's got balls, wear glasses. Ivan, Good afternoon. How are you?
I can't hear you, Nick. I don't know if that's me or anyone else.
Hang on, Ivan. I'll take you out and bring you back in again because I don't know about you, Carl, but I can't hear Ivan at all. Can you hear him?
That's all I can hear. Try again.
Try again. Ivan, are you there? Earth calling Ivan. Earth calling Ivan. Come in, Ivan. No, I think he must be in the same galaxy as Chewie, but Chewie's got better internet.
He must have
Ivan,
really bad connections.
Does anyone know sign language for Ivan? Sort your shit out. Does anyone know any sign language? No.
Not.
Ivan, are you there? Can you hear me?
He's saying he can't hear anything in the chat.
Have you got a pad and a pen, Carl, and write something like "sort your mic out, you dumb bleep"? No, I'll take him out, bring him back in.
Okay, try again.
That's not Ivan.
He was incognito, but no, he isn't. He isn't incognito. He's left the witness protection program. Mr. Smug, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
When I'm plastering,
Yeah, we're very good. I'm good. I'm good. How's it been? Good week?
Yeah.
Don't know what
Had another preseason game last night. Chiefs played again. Got to see the starters a little longer. So, yeah, it's hard to believe it's
We're in a
Saturday
training
again
session.
already.
We're in a training session. I'm going to be.
Has someone got some audio? I can't. I've got someone with someone in the background.
On Alice. And the people that didn't play against Alice.
I know who that is. It's probably me. I've got two of my friends behind me, and they've got the TV on. Hang on a second.
I don't know. Anyone would think this was a professional production. Do you know what I mean?
They called that. I thought they called it a telly over there.
Carl doesn't have
telly,
friends,
yeah,
does he?
someone's watching the telly.
Is that any better?
Yeah,
much better.
That's
I thought
better,
you were
okay.
doing a brilliant. I thought you was doing a brilliant ventriloquist act there, Carl.
No.
You were talking about Crystal Palace and football, and your lips weren't moving. I thought, Jesus, that is good.
This may only be a 40 quid microphone, but it picks up sound very, very easily.
Yeah, well, it was picking it up like a. In fact, yeah, I mean that was 40 quid well spent, definitely. Ivan, I think, has left to come back in. Obviously, still waiting for a few others to join. So, what we'll do, we'll get into it. But first, I've got a special banner I've got to put up because we have got some breaking news from last night, Scott, and I need you to comment on this breaking news because it's very important. I don't know if that's coming across your screen yet, but apparently the breaking news, God, who wears 15, threw an interception in the game last night. And Carl said he was being, I think his words were before we went live, he was trying to keep the play alive and do Mahomes things, and he luzzed it when he shouldn't have luzzed it, and he got picked. What are your because this is obviously a rare. This is like the parting of the Red Sea, you know, a great flood because it never happened. So what are your takes? Are you worried, Mr. Smug?
Yeah, I mean, Chad Henne looked way better than Mahomes. So I think there might be a QB controversy. I don't know. No, man, I'm not worried. It's a preseason game. He was trying to keep the play alive. I would like to think if that was a regular season game, he would just run out of bounds or throw the ball into the stands. But, you know, the guy, when you take risks, sometimes it backfires. For every one play like that, if the guy's got 10 or 15 where your jaw just drops down on the floor and you can't believe what you just saw. So, no, I'm not worried. I am a little worried about the receiving core behind Tyreek Hill. I have not been impressed with what I've seen out of Hardman and some of the other guys here early, but that game last night looked more like a practice than a game. I mean, the plays were vanilla. I mean, there was no razzle dazzle. There was no deep downfield throws. There was no misdirection. So it's just so hard to tell. You don't want to overreact to preseason, but at the same time, you can see things like guys dropping passes and Mahomes getting pissed at guys for not running the right routes. So, yeah, not worried at all.
Well, McCall.
Sorry, go on, Cole. Sorry, go on.
That's okay. Well, McCall Hardman, obviously, I sent out a tweet saying he's going to end up in the doghouse pretty soon. Excluding that one catch where he managed to turn around in the end zone to actually catch it. The rest of the time, him and Mahomes were just not connecting at all. That's cause to pause, considering that the only other receiver he was really throwing to at the time was Byron Pringle.
Right. Yeah, no, and I made a joke. I think I might have tweeted it out. I told my brother and some of my family that I was watching the game with, I said, well, Hardman's in midseason form, 1 spectacular play and 10 boneheaded plays. That's kind of that dude's deal, and it's been his deal since he got with the team. Watkins is gone. They're expecting him to step up. He needs to step up and have a big role. And, again, I always preface everything with it's preseason football. But he hasn't, been showing out. He hasn't looked great yet. So we'll see. They got one more preseason game, and then next thing you know, they're going to count. They're going to be playing for real.
The reason being, well, let's just be real here. The reason being why McCall Hardman was at the Chiefs is because they drafted him because of the Tyreek Hill situation a few years back. That was the only legitimate reason why the Chiefs drafted McCall Hardman.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, there was that off-season situation was going on. I think it was kind of a hasty desperation thing that they did. Usually, not just in football, anytime you make a hasty, desperate decision in life or at work or in a relationship, it usually doesn't turn out for the better. But the guy's got talent, though. That's the thing. You see him make these plays. So you don't know if it's a mental thing. It's maybe, I don't know. I can't explain why he's not better than he is, because you look at the tools and you look at when he makes the eye-opening big play and just think, why can't you do it more often? Why can't you be more consistent? And that's for the team to figure out and for him to figure out. Obviously, I'm not me.
I mean, I still expect Hardman to make the 53-man roster. No issues whatsoever, because obviously the likes of Demarcus Robinson is going to get targets now. Travis Kelce only had 1 catch last night, but nothing to be really worried about. I think the whole point of that offense for the Chiefs last night was for Mahomes to target Hardman to get some chemistry going. If there's no chemistry going, then all you really got is Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, which is not the worst double pairing in the world at all. But you do need other receivers to complement that. You do need Demarcus Robinson to step up, Byron Pringle to step up. McCall Hardman now has to step up in week 3. If he doesn't, he's going to fall down the depth chart.
Right, and I know you play a lot of fantasy, Carl. It helps a good receiver when they have another good receiver on the field, because it draws attention. And you can't just focus, okay, well, we're going to shut down Tyreek Hill because we're going to double him and we're going to put somebody over the top on his side of the field every time because they don't have another option. I mean, it's good, even for the guys like Kelce and Hill, to have guys like Hardman and Pringle step up. So, it's preseason, but I know that turned into a breakdown of the Chiefs game, which I know Nick was not trying to go to. I know he was trying to bust my balls a little bit about Mahomes throwing the interception. So
I think not just me. Come on, everyone was right. It was like seeing a platypus for the first time. It was like, oh my god, he threw an interception. What the hell?
Yeah, I think he threw 8 last year. So rare sighting. I'm not the one that should be worried, Nick, about his quarterback. I'm just going to leave.
We're going to get into that. Don't get ahead of yourself, Mr. Smugs. Don't get ahead of yourself. Like to say a very good morning to Cinnamon Chris in the comments. If you are a first-time viewer of this channel, obviously we do a lot of 49ers content, and I do that really just to piss everyone else off, and I don't care because it's my show. But if you are here for the first time, hit that like and subscribe button. Scott, I would like to know what you thought, apart from the QB, what you thought of the game last week compared to the one you just played. Now, I haven't seen the one from last night of yours, but I think from a 49ers perspective, and probably from your perspective as well, it was the first preseason game. Crowds were back in the stadium. Did it live up to the hype? Because last week we spoke about it. You know, I was really excited to watch it. I know you were looking forward to the game as well. Did it live up to your expectations for the first quarter or whatever? And then it just was like, oh, it's pre-season again. What was your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes played 4 snaps. The starters got out of there quick. It's the first game, as you said. But no, it was good. It was good just to have football back on the TV. It was kind of more of the same, like I talked about from the first game. McCall Hardman had a drop. The second string tight end that they drafted out of Duke, Gray for the Chiefs, he had a couple drops. One led to an interception. But again, it looked more like a practice out there. It didn't look like they were trying to do anything more than just the most basic vanilla plays that you got in the playbook. You're not getting past page 2, I don't think. But as far as the game goes, it was an exciting, entertaining game. It was close. They got down there towards the end of the game, and the 49ers took the lead, and then the Chiefs got the ball back, and they went down on a pretty impressive drive, game-winning drive there at the end. There was some drama. It was probably one of the more exciting preseason games of memory. Me and my family were kind of talking about that. They said, man, for a preseason game, that was a hell of a game. So I enjoyed watching it. It was competitive. And I said beforehand, I love watching the second half or the third and the fourth quarter of these preseason games because those guys are playing hard. You know, those are the guys that are trying to make the team, and those are the guys that are on the bubble. That you know, their livelihood and staying in the league is dependent on how they play, and that limited role and that limited amount of time that they get. Especially now, there's only 3 preseason games. They have even less chance and opportunity to show and to put on tape for what the coaches, you know, to see to make the squad. So I thought it was a fun, entertaining game. And you mentioned, I think, the thing I was most excited about, or I enjoyed the most about the game, was the fans being back in the stands. I know I saw Dion was on Twitter. He had a buddy of his. He was at the game. There was crowd noise. There was a couple. I think the ESPN guys even said it last night. They said, man, there's a lot of crowd noise for a preseason game there in Arizona. So the game is all about the fans. I know the stars, and, you know, we don't go out there and we can't play. But when you go to the games, when you watch it on TV and you got that crowd roar and you see people out there having a good time, being entertained. I know the players like entertaining the fans. They always say they get that extra bit of juice, that jolt of energy from the crowd. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I mean, what was your biggest takeaway from the game against San Francisco? What were you pleased about, and what were you displeased about? Let's put it that way. And sorry, Carl, I've had to mute you again because all of the background noise. I can hardly hear anyone talking, so it's either the TV or it's them talking too loudly.
Okay, I do apologise. I'll mute the mic.
Send them to the pub. Give them 50p to go to the shops for an hour or something. That's what my mum used to do if I was being a pain in the arse. Yeah. So, what were you pleased about, Scott, and what weren't you so happy about watching that game?
Well, just what I wasn't happy about, all the drops. I think there was 3 drops. Hardman had a drop. Like I said, the new tight end that they drafted that's kind of been, you know, now I'm going to say the star at camp, but has had a good camp. Gray, the tight end out of Duke, he had a couple drops. Just looked kind of sloppy from the receiving core. I think probably what I liked the most, or what I enjoyed the most, or was most encouraging, the line seemed to play pretty well. But again, they were in and out so quick in that first game. It's really hard to draw too much from such a small sample size. But some of the new linemen look good. They protected a hell of a lot better than the 49ers offensive line did. So, that's probably my biggest takeaway, positive and negative, from that first game. And Mahomes didn't get hurt. None of the key players. I should probably preface that. I mean, that's always the most important thing. What you want to see the most out of any preseason game is no star, no big-time players. I mean, not that I want to see, the backup guys get hurt, but guys that are, no one wants to see Patrick Mahomes or like one of your guys. No one wants to see one of your star players go out there and get hurt in a meaningless game.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I am going to get in more depth because I know we are going to talk QBs, but I will do my pluses and minuses when we talk about the QB. So we're going to go around the horn now. Chewy, fill us in on the updates on the game you played, your pluses, your minuses, any injury updates. Good to see you, Carly. Glad to see you in here again. What's been your impression so far, Chewy, of what you've seen and what's been going on?
I mean, I can't really tell you because it was pretty much our second to sixth string, so I'm not going to tell you anything groundbreaking or. I mean, you already know we're winning the Super Bowl, so there's no point telling you that. But future Super Bowl winner Jacob Eason, it looked good. Still a bit rookie, hold on to it for a bit too long. He's not playing them college defenses anymore. He really needs to step up his progression reads. Offensive line, a little bit of a problem, but again, these are guys who are not going to be near our starting lineup week one. So we played well, eked out a win against Carolina. I think our game was mainly known for that taunting flag, which was ridiculous, and that's about as exciting as it got.
I think we're going to have to start introducing random drug tests before we start the show, because obviously Chewy has been on something he shouldn't have been before he joined. If he thinks that, or mind you, he didn't say that the Colts were winning it this year. He just said it was a future thing. So that could be like 30 years into the future.
We will win it again. Just not saying when.
And is there any update on Carson Wentz? Period of time that he's out? Has he had an operation? What's going on with him?
So the latest update on the two injuries that we had, obviously Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson had a scarily, freakily same injury somehow. From what I understand, Quentin Nelson has an extra bone in his body, and that was bouncing around his foot, so they needed to get that out. Whereas Carson has broken his foot previous, and there was just a little chip bone what they needed to get out. I'd say don't expect to see Carson Wentz week one if we don't have to. If we're happy with how it's going, we'll probably see Jacob Eason, maybe Carson Wentz if things are not going to plan week one. But if things are going to plan, then I'd say week two for Carson.
Right, but you from what you've seen, you don't think? I know again, it was people that are going to be washing cars next week after, etc. But how did the backup QBs look? How did they get on with the receivers? Does it look like that if he doesn't come back till week 4, you're going to be okay, or is it worrying on the QB side of things?
We'll be okay. We're primarily that wasn't the right way to say that, but we are run the ball first team since the O-line and Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack. So we'll be okay because we've not had to rely on the quarterback recently. But it's just one of them. I think it's just too early preseason. I was just happy to have football back, to be honest. So I just enjoyed all of it. And like you said, Nick, these guys, it changes people's lives. You know, they think they've made it, and then all of a sudden they get cut. So these are guys who are fighting for a spot. But do I expect to see them in the 53? Not really, no.
I mean, the one thing I notice about all of the games that I've seen, either the game in 40 or the highlights, and I watched the Patriots game, which we'll get onto in a sec, Carl, just how bad some of the tackling is. And I know it's pre-season, and as you say, they get a spot on the 90-man roster, they get to camp, and talking of getting to camp and stuff, as you know, my friend Cale Garrett, who was with the Giants, unfortunately got cut before the first pre-season game, so he's now looking for another team, which is really sad, but it's a business, right? And it is sad because he had the whole of pre-season there. He was working his arse off to try and get on special teams, and for whatever reason, they decided they even cut him before the first lot of cuts. So whether they brought people in or not, I don't know. But so that's just another reason to hate on the fucking Giants. If I needed another one. Yeah, so that's that is the sad part of it. But it's very hard to judge, isn't it? In pre-season, but I always see some of the tackling is atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, do you want to make this team? Do you want, this is your dream. This is what you've done in college and high school. And then, as you know, it must be hard being a fourth stringer or a player on the bubble, because there may be 3 better players than you, so you must shine. And when they get that time to shine, they just can't do it. And I think a lot of it as well with a lot of these players is they don't really get the step up between college and the pros. And it is a massive leap. Some players can do it, some just get left by the wayside. Got a question here for you, Chewy, from Colts Loyalist 56. This might be your burner account. I don't know, because Mr. Smug has a burner account that joins us occasionally and says what a nice person he is. And I reckon it's him typing away on his phone. Predictions if Eason has to start the first 3 games.
Unfortunately, it isn't my burner account. I know Colts Loyalist. He does a lot of good work for a lot of Colts channels in America. 3-0, why not? Everyone. This is the beauty of preseason. Everyone thinks their team's going 17-0. Everyone thinks their team's going to win the Super Bowl. So, listen, the Colts defense is mega.
The Colts that is uncanny, right? I mentioned burner accounts. He goes off screen, comes back in. His hands are down there in his thing. And there it is. There's his burner account, as by magic. Sorry, Chewy. Carry on.
Sorry. Yeah. The Colts defense this year is something we can lean on heavily. I'd actually put money on Quitty Pay breaking the rookie sack record because he's a monster. So I think we'll go. It's a tough start, but 3-0. Why not? I'm a homer, so I'm going to say that.
You've always got to have hope, mate. You've always got to have hope. That roster that's being put together over there, regardless of Wentz, as you say, it's a good roster, and you've got to look at playoffs at least. Doesn't help when you have injuries, obviously, especially to someone who has got a lot to prove this year. Personally, I don't know if he is going to be able to coax out the old Wentz, who was above average to top tier QB. Whether he can bring that back or not, it will be interesting to see. But obviously, this injury is setting it back. So, whilst he can get the playbook and the cadence and all that stuff, he's not getting the reps, and that obviously is quite important for someone like him to get his confidence back, because it is a confidence thing, I think, playing that position. people like Tom Brady, Mahomes, Montana, whoever you want to say from all these QBs past, they've got a swagger, they're cocky, but they don't lose confidence. And I think last year when he played for the Eagles, his confidence level was through the, it was gone. So I'm quite interested to see how he was going to come back and whether they've been, because I think they got to build him up again and make him believe he can still be that QB. So it will be interesting to see when he does come back what happens there. Mahomie the GOAT, aka Scott, aka one of Scott's family, whoever. Good morning, welcome along. Glad you could make it. Again, if it's your first time here, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications of when we come on. I mean, we always come on 2:30 on a Saturday or 9:30 Eastern in the USA. So it's not as if you don't know when we're going to appear, but you never know. Carl might decide to do a random show or something, and then you won't know it's going to be on if you don't hit the little notification bell. Right, Carl. So how has your pre-season been so far? What's been your good and bads of the two games you've seen?
First of all, can you hear any background noise coming from me at all?
No, because you've tied them both up and gagged them.
No, I've changed. Well, obviously, I've changed the headset and I've turned the microphone off, so this is my backup. Simple as it gets, really. We were outstanding against the Eagles, 35-0. I know it was against a few. We didn't play all of the first team from the Eagles. Obviously, the likes of Fletcher Cox was still out. But Cam Newton obviously started as he did in preseason week 1. And he was solid. He didn't look out of place. He was throwing the ball with precision and with some velocity. He threw 8 of 9. The only incompletion was a drop pass. Threw 103 yards and a touchdown to Jakobi Meyers in that first quarter. Mac Jones came in for several series. He threw 13 of 19. 3 passes were drops. The other one was spiked. So you could say he only really had 2 incompletions. Both quarterbacks have been solid, to say the least. And there is and the battle is still continuing right now. But usually when we get to, if this was, say, a few years ago, preseason week 3, this coming week would be when we start seeing all the starters. But because obviously now we lose a preseason week 2 is now the dress rehearsal game. And Cam Newton looked pretty solid. The offensive line protected him. They utilized the running game very, very well. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, who we got in the 4th round, he is just dicing up everyone. The entire running back room on Thursday night put the secondary of the Eagles on skates. They were just absolutely unbelievable. I'm still going to maintain that Cam Newton starts week 1, okay? And the only reason being why I'm saying that, I know Mac Jones is playing really well, really solid, and really efficient, but why would Bill Belichick make the decision and put in a rookie in when he knows he can sit a year back and get ready for 2022? If Cam Newton knows this year is his final year, and it's either he's going to do really, really well and get an offer to go somewhere else, or it's going to be game over for him. And from what I saw it's only small snippets of the first half with Cam Newton in place. He looked solid. He looked refined. His accuracy was good. And he was throwing to receivers that was getting open. To make matters even more, we barely had any tight ends on the field that night. John O. Smith was out injured. Hunter Henry was out injured. All we had was Devin Asiasi, and he was useless. So we were relying on Jakobi Meyers, Aguilar, and Kendrick Bourne. That was it. And yet we still managed to do it. The running game helped as well. And there's also another thing you never saw as well. Cam Newton has never run a quarterback draw. He stayed in the pocket all this time for the throw-in, which gives you the indication that he is still trying to learn to pass from the pocket and be more efficient. And this was the right way to go about it. We will see him do quarterback draws in the regular season. I have no question or shadow of a doubt about it. But if his passing efficiency is there, then we are in good hands. And right now, the more I'm seeing of this team, the more I'm getting a little bit more excited moving into the regular season.
You could have inserted Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo in everything you just said, and still could make a case for either. My take on it, and I only watched I didn't watch the first game. I watched the Philadelphia game, and we were talking about tackling while you were away. I thought the tackling in or from Philadelphia was suspect at best. No pass rush at all against Cam or Mac Jones. Mac Jones has got a funky throwing style. He just looks really weird when he throws. It just looked, I don't know. Yeah, he did look good. Don't get me wrong. Cam Newton looked good, but that was against third and fourth stringers. Same with the receivers, same with the running backs. I know you had your top tier running backs in. And I don't know. Like I was saying to Chewy, I don't know how seriously you can take how good both of your QBs looked. And that's the same for me, and I'm going to get into that, as you know, with my team. I don't know how serious you can take it. Got the Jags Raw podcast. I don't know if that's Phil who's running that, but glad to see you. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. Poor old Tim T-boy, never mind. Go back to ESPN show or whatever it was he was doing, because he was never going to make it as a tight end. But yeah, that was the thing I saw. I think they were given time to throw and made them look good. Now, I don't know how serious. I mean, if the Niners play, a little bit of Jimmy or no Jimmy at all, and it's all Lance, can't be Rosen because they kicked his ass out down, and Studfeld looks really good, I don't think you can take anything from it. And we could get the same result, the same score. I mean, it was good that you shut him out, but then it was fucking Nick Mullins, and he is garbage. Thank God he's not on the Niners anymore.
It wasn't. The Eagles were not very good at all Thursday night. They weren't very good at all. I think even Devontae Smith, when he came on, he had a couple of nice catches, but he was going up against our 4th or 5th string corner in Michael Jackson. Blame it on the boogie on that one. But,
Did he only have one glove on, and it was sparkly? And he was moonwalking instead of covered.
The Michael Jackson puns are coming out thick and fast now. But no, he had 2 catches and he didn't really do a lot. And the more I was shocked about, I was looking forward to seeing Jalen Hurts actually, seeing what he can actually do against our defense. And he never turned up. He got sent to the hospital due to a stomach bug. I don't know how much to believe in that at all, because he was dancing on the field and having a good time, and now all of a sudden he has a stomach ache and he goes to the hospital. That's probably one of the weirdest retractions I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, your microphone's cut out. I didn't get the last bit of that. No, I think your mic is knackered because it's not. We can't hear you, so you may have to go back to Plan A. Some people would say the best Carl is a quiet Carl, but I would never say that. Have either of you two seen any of the highlights from the Pats game of just how easy it was for those 2 QBs to throw the ball? And I'm not just saying it and trying to wind Carl up. If you do get a chance even to watch the highlights, you do not see any pressure in either of the New England QBs' faces at all. They didn't have a pass rush, so it's hard to judge. Like that.
I think the Eagles are going to be trash. So to take much from their preseason games is even more trash. I don't see it. I don't see any way the Eagles are all that competitive this year. Jalen Hurts, it's going to be interesting to see, like Carl said. I don't know, man. Like, the guy just screams college quarterback to me.
Yeah.
I've never saw his game translating to the NFL. I know there's a lot of people in fantasy in that realm that are excited about him, but there's a big difference between being a good fantasy quarterback and being a good NFL quarterback. So, Gardner Minshew is a great fantasy quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick's a great fantasy quarterback, but I am not expecting much out of the Eagles. So for them to come out limp and not really put up much of a fight, it's not all that surprising. I will say, Cam Newton's got talent. Okay. He was an MVP not that long ago in this league. It's just with him, as he's gotten older and the injuries have piled up, his mobility and his elusiveness, which was a big part of his game, has dropped off. So I don't think Cam Newton is – he's not Nick Mullins, right? I don't think anybody should expect him to be that bad. But, yeah, no, he's just closer to the end than the beginning. We'll see. I don't know their running game really is what I thought looks and probably most impressive for the Patriots. Their running game looks outstanding, man. It looks like they got some guys that can run, and they've, the thunder and lightning thing, people always want to talk about. But yeah, they've looked impressive. I would give Carl that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Are you back with us, Carl?
Yeah, I'm back.
I don't know what. I think your headset may have given up, and that's why it was your backup as opposed to your. Hang on one second.
This only works, so it's fine.
We have royalty in the building from the Nothing But Niners, Tony.
You gotta stop, man. You gotta stop with this.
How are you, Tony? Good morning, sir.
Good. How are you? How's everything? How's everyone doing today?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're all good, Tony.
It looks like Tony's taking my spot in the witness protection program this week.
What? Oh, because the light.
Yeah, the light. I was going to say the lighting's a bit.
They were giving me shit about it last week, so that's funny.
Trouble is, though, Tony, Mr. Smug should actually be in witness protection for being a chief protagonist, and see, even Michael knows it. Tony, you see, Tony the GM.
You got to stop, man. If I was the GM, oh God, I'd be happy, but I'm not. I wish.
How's your daughter? How's your daughter and son doing? Are they well?
My son and wife are in Mexico for vacation, and my daughter's here with me.
Cool. So we're not going to have the photo bomb of your son when you disappear off camera and don't switch it off, and then your son steals the show.
No.
Cool. So, okay, we're going to get in. I don't know if you've been listening to any of it, but we've had Scott's take on the Niners Chiefs game. I've held my fire a little bit. Let's start with you, Tone. What were your overall thoughts of the game? Were you excited to see it and it didn't live up to it? Obviously, we know about what happened.
I hear you.
Your overall impression, what were your good points and bad points that you saw throughout the game watching it?
All right. Yeah. So, there was definitely some positives. There were some negatives. Let's see. Where could we start? I guess we could talk about the quarterbacks. The quarterback play. Jimmy went 3 for 3 for, I think, 30 yards. it's typical Jimmy what he does. He plays it safe. He had one throw down the field that was called back due to offensive pass interference by Warner. He did a pick route, and Ayuk ran scot-free. So we saw Trey Lance come in right away, first play from scrimmage, takes the snap under center, does the play action, and immediately attacks downfield. Or went to attack downfield, felt some pressure, rolled out of the pocket to the right, hit Ayuk on the move, right in his hands, and Ayuk dropped it. Then we had the 80-yard touchdown pass, which was impressive. And then after that, it seems like Steve Spagnuolo got pissed off and started dialing things up, changing his pre-snap to post-snap coverages, something that Trey Lance has not seen in North Dakota State. So that's something where I think he struggled once Spagnuolo became aggressive with, showing man. And I don't know if you guys follow Eric Crocker, but check him out because he did a whole video on this, how they showed press man coverage pre-snap. And then at the snap, you've seen both corners jam and then bam to a zone. So that's something he's never seen. I mean, he rotated the safeties a couple times. One went in the box at the snap. They just flipped. The other one guy came in the box. The other one went to the deep third. It's the mental aspect on, like, pre-snap, I think he's good. I think he can identify where to go, where the windows are going to be, what the coverage is going to be. It's once you snap the ball, and if a defensive coordinator wants to play and he gets tricky and switches his coverage post-snap, that's where I think he could struggle. Most rookie quarterbacks will struggle with that aspect of the game because it's something that they've not seen, especially Trey Lance. The running game, I thought it was okay. I thought it could have been better. You kind of got to put that on the offensive line. No Alex Mack, no Trent Williams. Banks got hurt in the game. The defensive line, I thought, played pretty damn well. Constant pressure. They didn't get home, but, they were getting in the backfield, causing the quarterback to come off his original throwing platform and to adjust. That's what you want to see. The linebackers, I think – what's the kid's name? I forgot his name. Griffin. I think Griffin had a hell of a game. I think when Hilliard came in, he had a hell of a game. DeAndre Lamore played very well. His mentality of playing the cornerback position is what you want in an NFL corner. You want him to be relentless, confident, the utmost confident. If he gets beat on the play, he brushes it off and comes right back the next play. Granted, he got an interception on a poorly thrown pass, but still, he stuck with the receiver. He didn't give up. He completed the interception, stayed in bounds. That's what you want to see. Abraham Thomas had a decent game for someone in his first action coming off of a layoff from COVID. The safeties, Hufanga was all over the place. I like what I've seen for him. He had the one thing, and this is another thing where you got to – these kids are caught. He was an All-American at USC out of the Pac-12. He went one-on-one with Tyreek Hill, and he just didn't understand the speed of Tyreek Hill compared to him. So he took a poor angle thinking he would be able to get to the point to make a tackle, and Tyreek Hill's speed was on display. But other than that, he had the one interference call. If he was there if the ball was there a hair sooner, it would have been a great play. But listen, ups and downs, it's all learning. This is part of the thing. These guys got to get reps, experience in the NFL game. I like the display. I like what I saw from the team in general. They competed. They didn't back down. And, it's just – listen, I don't care what the score is. You do want to see them win, but – how can you expect your team to win when they're not playing the full team? They're not playing the full starters. So it's straight evaluation time for these coaches and the front office for all these teams, not just the Niners. So they did what I want them to do. They want them to I want them to compete, not give up, don't quit, and just play your ass off to the whistle. And they did that. So I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a good – I mean – you covered a lot of what I was going to say because that's why I got you on, so I didn't have to say it. So I can just sit here nodding, Tony. It's quite easy to get you on. I just nod with everything you say. My overall impression of the game was, whilst our second O-line is trash, and I think that's going to be a problem. If the starters start going down with injuries, I think we're in a lot of trouble, and whoever's behind centre is going to get killed. I was hoping Banks was going to look a lot better than he did. Obviously, I know he got injured, but I thought he was quite bang average until that kind of happened. He did get beat on a few plays. Trey Sermon, he's got something there. Everyone can see it, but he just didn't really show it. He's more of a battering ram than he is a finesse runner. And sometimes, and they were saying in the commentary and videos I've seen since, there were open lanes and he didn't take the lane. He'd rather take inside and take the hit and try and run someone over, which I think is, you're going to get growing pains being a rookie. Of course you are. But I was excited by him. I thought the rookie cornerbacks did well. Hufanga, he was everywhere. Even if he could sniff like a smidge of a tackle, when that ball was there, he was going to the ball and he was looking for the ball. And I like that. I think he's got a good chance of starting.
That's what I like.
I like his. He was all over the place. And he enjoyed it, Tony. I'm not saying that other players didn't enjoy it, but he was enjoying himself out there and he played with a smile on his face. And again, that's another plus. He could take that starting job, Tony. That's how good he looked.
I don't know if he's ready to start. I don't think
so, no?
No, I think Tavon Wilson's going to be the guy right now because I think because of his experience and him being a veteran, a 9-year veteran, and having ties to the new defensive back coach, Corey Unlin, I think that's the route they're going to go. But I do think he will be on the field a lot. I'm not saying that, but I think they're going to go the safe route because you saw in a couple tendencies where you can't – all right, listen, his knock on him was just his speed. His speed as a player, his straight line speed was his issue. He ran a high 4.6 coming out of USC as a safety. No, a low 4.6, I think. Yeah. And his number one thing that got him to this point to take that 4.6 speed and just set it aside was his instincts. And you saw his instincts on display. His closing speed to make a tackle is – I love it. I was very impressed with that. I just think he has to refine himself with responsibilities and keys. Like, okay, this is my thing. I'm not going to jump it to go make a play here. That's where his instincts could – he's an aggressive player. His instincts could hurt him in that aspect, but anytime you saw a receiver catch the ball, he would come flying in like a hair on fire and boom, and just tackle him right to the ground. Clean tackle. And that's what you want to see from a safety. Do I think he's starting quality right now? I think they're going to stick with Tavon Wilson. And just one thing I just want to touch, actually two things. They're tied together. Banks. When they first drafted him, I was like, wait a second. This is totally not a 49er offensive guard. It's not. My opinion, I think they want more size inside because this team got stuffed a lot on 3rd and short when they tried to run up the middle. They got stuffed on the goal line on 4th and goal. With all he had to do was just fall forward, and they still got stuffed. They want to put a bigger, more bruising guy inside to get that push. And what they did was they went and identified that player in Banks in the 2nd round. Granted, they traded back for him, which makes me happy because if they would have took him that high, I would have been like, you know what, right here, because he isn't the identical fit for a Kyle Shanahan guard. So they took him after trading back. They recouped a couple picks. They moved up and got a couple other players. It is what it is. But the problem with his is he played at 330 at Notre Dame on the left side of the offensive line. So what the Niners did is they asked him to drop weight and moved him to the right side of the offensive line. And I talked with Breezy about this from Nitty Gritty Niners and Nothing But Niners. We're all big family, but that's a tough transition when you had a guy play the left side of the offensive line for the majority of his career, minus a couple spot fill-ins, spot starts when he was younger, to transition to the right side And his main thing for the game was pushing people around because of his mass. So you took the mass away from him, switched the side of the formation on him, and that's something you got to learn. So I will say, I think the lack of the running game and explosiveness from Sermon is tied to that second string offensive line. They didn't play well at all. The two bright spots, I think, in my opinion, but he started the game, was Jalen Moore at left tackle, minus one play. And I think Brendel at the center's position had a solid game. This is a guy who opted out of COVID-19. They signed him when Forrester came over to the Niners. He was in Miami with Forrester, so there's a tie there. But he has a legit chance to win the backup center spot behind Alex Mack. Now, one guy I'm severely disappointed in is Brunskill. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he lost weight, but he was dominated in the week with the Chargers and one-on-one drills. He did not look good in that game versus the Chiefs. Granted, him and Sermon got his feet tangled on the Chris Jones bull rush, but he still didn't look himself. I don't know what the issue is, but that needs to be corrected. Yeah, I'm sorry I just went on a tyrant, but go ahead. I like doing that from time to time.
Yeah, I've noticed that, Tony. That's fine. No, you're good. You're good, because we do enjoy the knowledge. We do enjoy the knowledge you bring. Yeah, I thought overall they did well. I was a bit disappointed with the pass rush, I must admit. I know they were getting in the backfield, but they kind of got manhandled too easy. I think it would have been different even if I know Bosa's not kind of ready, but if D Ford would have been out there for a few plays even, I think it would have been a different thing. And I heard he got 4 sacks the other day, at least, in the joint scrimmage with the Chargers. And if D Ford's back and Bosa's on the other side, forget it. It's going to be a totally different defense this year if they can stay healthy. I agree totally with what you said about Jimmy G being out on the field. I don't think you can really take much away from seeing him. But when Lance came on and you saw that first play action, I know it's only a fake, but I haven't seen a play action fake like that in a long time.
With Trey Lance.
Yes, from Trey Lance.
Yeah.
That's he really, really sold it, which small things make people watch. And as you say, after that, and that pass was amazing. I'm not going to take that away from him because, again, even I was like, shit. All the stuff I'd heard about him, and I have said that Jimmy G should start, and I still think Jimmy G should start. So I haven't changed on that stance. But the thing is, as you said, once Spagnuolo changed that defense up and was giving him looks that he had never seen, he did kind of look a little bit confused, which he can work on, which is good because he's seeing things he's never seen, but he's still assessing the field. He's keeping his eyes downfield. He's not panicking. And those sacks, I think, were more on the line than they were on Lance, and they got home really fast. The couple of drops, again, you see some of these plays and these drops, and you think they're turning to go upfield before the ball's even there. And you can't blame that on the QB, but I think he has to dial back his throwing the short stuff because it's coming out fast, right, Tony? I think you'll agree with that. He needs a bit more touch on his passes because he's throwing lasers when he should be putting just a bit more touch on it as opposed to just and it's gone.
Yeah,
and that's
what he's going to adjust to. He's got to adjust to
exactly. But if he's not playing, it's all right doing the practices, etc., where you don't have pressure and you have time to throw, set your feet, and you do get a touch for the passes. But when you're actually in a game situation, that's something he's got to learn, that you can't always put everything into it on a short yardage play. You have to dial it back just a bit. But I I gave him a solid B+. I thought he was really, really good. When he did that 80-yard touchdown pass, I thought, right, this is it now. They're gonna not open the playbook, but we're gonna see more downfield passing because Kyle wants to show you what his toy could do, but not obviously the full get go, but a few extended plays, whatever. He could have ran a couple of times, and I think they didn't want him to run. There was a few plays where he could have broken through and probably got 10 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards and slid. But I don't think they wanted him to do it because it was pre-season. Are they trying to make him into just a primarily pocket passer and someone like Mahomes that can extend plays and not use his legs? I hope not, because I want to see the full repertoire.
Well, I think that's what they want to do for the preseason. That's what I think, Kyle. His main objective is to get him as many reps as he could in a live game with him sitting in the pocket, making the throws, reading the defenses. Like I've seen the clips yesterday from the Chargers scrimmage inter squads, and you see him do it. He sets his feet and he just launches that ball, and it's there. He makes the plays. And you also saw another thing, the design quarterback run that could have went for a touchdown. So these are all things that obviously Kyle doesn't want to let out and put on official game film because that is a closed session, allegedly. The 49ers and Chargers are just people in the stands recording with their phones. But, I think if you put this kid in a run pass, an RPO type of style offense where he sits in the shotgun on every play, he looks and he decides as the running back comes in front of him to fake or let it go. Just that pause of the quarter, him standing in the shotgun, getting the snap, and the running back coming right in front of him and faking it and holding it there. You don't know what that does to a defense. That freezes your defense at the second and third level. All right, that pauses that for a split second, and right there, if he pulls it, a receiver's behind them in the window, and he has the ability to snap, fire, or throw through that window. That's where this kid could really blossom in this offense and make a smooth transition to the NFL. But he can't run RPOs every play. He's got to run a more generic Kyle offense. Could he use it in situational? Yeah. But I think he has to show the ability that he can adjust on a dime with defenses and pre-snap, post-snap adjustments and being able to identify where to go with the ball. I'm not saying he's not progressing, like going through his reads. He does that well. He did it versus Kansas City, and he did it in the scrimmages. But for him to get the ball, step back, and see, all right, a corner was just press man. Now he's bailing into his zone. I can't go there. Where's my next read? That's what I want. I want him to see, to adjust on the fly with that. And it's a work in progress. Because, listen, this is the first game he actually played in almost a year. So
he looked good. He definitely good. And I don't know if you heard Carl talking, because we were talking about Newton and Mac Jones before. And Carl did a monologue, shall we say, of exactly how I feel about Lance and Garoppolo. We all know this is Garoppolo's last season. I don't think he's getting traded. I think he's staying. And he wants to put himself in the shop window to maybe get another team, etc. And as Carl was saying with Ham and over there, he said what I could have said about the Niners. So it's interesting. We got a comment here, Tony. Carly, I think Lance needs to get better at knowing where his hot reads are. A couple of times he got sacked when he had Gorman wide open in the flat, and then he got strip sacked and almost fumbled. Again, those sorts of things are things that you can iron out time.
That play that he just brought up, where Gorman, it was a shotgun formation. Gorman started off flank to his left, next to him in the backfield. So he motioned out to the widest, most receiver on the left side, going with a full 5 route look. The 5 receivers running out. And what Kyle did was he designed an easy pitch and catch throw. And this is what kind of not scared me, but I think these are the things that he needs to like fine tune on. Because I think he flashed in the game that he could do it, but then there's times where he just reverts back to his old ways. Like he gets like he not freezes, but he holds it 1 second too long. Now on the snap, post snap, he motions out. So now Gallman's the widest. So he has a 3-by-2, so 3 receivers to one side, 2 to the other. And the 2 inside guys just simply run straight seams. One maybe ran a post, but from the TV view, you really can't tell. So at the snap, one did an inside release, one did an outside release, and they just ran down the thing. And here comes Gallman on a quick slant underneath him. So basically, those were 2 clear out routes to get Gallman the ball quick. All right? And what happened was you see him take the snap, and he saw it, and he was about to unleash it, and then he rusher. He saw that defender coming at him, not touched, like full head of steam coming at him, and he just held it for that second, and then that was it. If he would have unleashed that ball the minute he identified that route, that would have been potentially a walk-in touchdown, but at least a first down pickup, at least. Because the play design was there. The center of the field was wide open due to the routes, the clear out routes. The strip sack, he's got to pull the ball up. But again, I want to see this kid play behind the one. Until I see that, I'm not going to make a fair judgment on who the quarterback's going to be. Trey needs to improve. And just think about this. Jimmy's the most hardest quarterback to evaluate. He comes flying out the practices. He looks good. He's attacking downfield. He's making the intermediate routes in the shallow field. He's checking down to the running back. He looks good. But then there's always that point in the game where Jimmy reverts back to his old self and he shits the bed. So you come out, all right, Jimmy's going to start with this team. He's going to lead him till Trey is 100% ready. And then by the end of the game, you're back to the bottom. Who's it, Trey or Jimmy? That's what I just can't – I can't take with Jimmy. If he was just slightly more consistent, I think Jimmy would be the starting quarterback going into the season, but I just can't see it when he reverts back to his old ways. He pats the ball. He clutches the ball. He holds it. And they're saying he was staring down receivers versus the Chargers. So I wasn't there. I can't confirm it with my own eyes, but these are coming from pretty reputable people that are there on site. So it's just such a tough evaluation with Jimmy Garoppolo. It really is.
The weird thing is, Tony, normally when you're on your resident nothing but Niners and QBs are talked about, you say no comment and you don't say a word. You come on here and you're bringing the heat.
Well, you watch the shows. I'm pretty you understand why I say no comment. So
no, I do. I do. I mean, Carl, from a New England perspective, going back to when Jimmy was there, obviously you don't see much of the Niners, but what was he like when he was with you? I know he didn't play many games because obviously TB12 was there, but have you seen him improve between then and now, or is it still the same old Jimmy?
I think there was some improvements since he's gone to the 49ers, especially in the year which he made it to the Super Bowl. It's difficult to evaluate Jimmy. It is, because under Brady, we only saw him play 2 games in the season where Brady got suspended for the first 4 games. And he wasn't flashy. It was just an efficient quarterback. He made the right reads. He made the right throws when needed to, relied on the running game. And I think that's what Jimmy is doing with the 49ers. Relies on the running game, but can make the throws when needed to. I just think Trey Lance, who you drafted, is supposed to be the next step above that. And that's why I'm a little bit concerned with regarding of Jimmy G. I still think he's a very good quarterback. But has he really improved? He has to some extent, but not to take the next 1 or 2 levels that we expect him to go to. No, you're under Brady's shadow. You learn from the best. and now you're fighting for your job with some kid from North Dakota State.
The thing is, I think everybody knew, especially, and again, I don't know, when you listen to what the coach is saying, it can be any team. No one came out more, I don't think, in the off-season than Shanahan basically saying, Jimmy's a great guy, he's a great, he's been good for us, etc., but he can't stay on the field because he's always injured. And that is true. But last season, I don't know whether it was pressure from the team or Jimmy trying to get back in because he was worried. And he came back too early from that first high ankle sprain and made it worse. And then it just went to shit from there. So I think, again, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he don't. And Chewy, I'm interested. If they rush Wentz back and he's not 100% and he plays, let's say he doesn't play the first 3 games of your season, but he comes in week 4 they escape with a win. Week 5 he comes in and he's still not right and re-injures it. Is that a gamble worth sort of taking, bearing in mind what happened last year with the Niners and all the injuries? Is that a gamble worth taking, or would you rather wait until he's 100%? Even if he says, "I'm fine, coach, put me in," just make sure he definitely is where, because they've spent a lot of money on him and they want him to be that franchise QB over with you. So what's your take on that? Would you rather wait until he's 100% and he's 100%, or 80% because we're in the shit, we need to win some games?
The $1 million question is, when is anyone ever going to be 100% ready to play? There's freak injuries, what can happen. We need to take a risk because we are in our Super Bowl window. It's as simple as that for the Colts. We need to make a deep run into the playoffs this year, looking to push even further next year at the minimum. So we really do need to take the risk. What I will say is we obviously have the Great Wall of Indy with our new offensive line, and Frank Reich and the receivers are decent. It's a deep core, the running backs. We don't have to rely on Wentz like Philadelphia, just leaving him out to dry pretty much. But it's weird because he seems like an injury-prone player, right? He has all these injuries. But you look back, you get sacked 50 times in a season or whatever, you're going to get these injuries, and that's just not going to happen in Indy. But I'm not worried. I'm really not worried, but we do need to take the risk.
I understand that. I do understand it because obviously, as we were saying earlier, Wentz, if you get that Wentz back where he first came into the league, was it his ACL he tore in Philly? Was it ACL or something? It was something like that anyway.
I think it was something along that line. Yeah.
And you need that player, especially, and you can make a lot of comparisons, not injury-wise, but Philip Rivers, all those years, Philip Rivers was a baller, but he never had a decent offensive line. And I know ultimately he never got to the Super Bowl and won it, etc. But you saw the difference that first year when he had a decent O-line. And yeah, he still made bonehead throws and things like that. But he was a different player. And again, going back to Wentz, that could be exactly the same for him behind that line. He's not running for his life. He's not having to worry.
Yeah.
So it is. I like watching Indy, and I think if he can recreate that, I'm not sure he can, but if as you say, you've definitely got a couple of year window, and who knows what's going to happen in the season. I mean, I talked of injury. Scott, obviously, Mahomes got injured, didn't he? Before the Super Bowl, was it in the last game in the playoffs, or was it a couple of games where he had turf toe, etc.?
I want to say that was
and
one
he
of the
didn't.
last. That was one of the last few games of the regular season, I think, where he got that, and he kind of dealt with that. Because I remember thinking it was huge, that they had the bye week for him to recover and get the foot. Foot injuries are just brutal. Everybody knows if you've ever had a foot injury, you can stay off. You hurt your arm or you hurt your neck or something. You can stay off your arm. You can, you can't stay off your feet unless you just sit on your ass, right? So, yeah, foot injuries are not good injuries to have. Mahomes dealt with it the year before too, where he had an ankle, which I realize is not the same as your foot, but it's close, right? I mean, if your ankle's bothering you, your foot's bothering you, you're trying to run, you're trying to walk, you're trying to just stand, do anything, it's hurting you. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you don't want to rush somebody back too early, but at the same time, if it's an injury like a foot, it's probably going to bother you until you can get an extended period of time where you can stay off of it.
I think definitely the thinking back now, yeah, the bye week helped, but he wasn't right in that. And I know I take the rise out of you because he wasn't Mahomes. He didn't look good. And he basically was, let's just bring Dion back in. Dion, how are you, sir?
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
What's up, Dion?
What's up?
Got a special message from John V for you. Dion's going to push the triangle button through the bottom of the controller. Are you playing Madden by any chance?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm trying to get used to it. I haven't played this. I just got it. The sad thing was I bought it just like Breezy and everybody else, but they force you to upgrade your PS4. So they want you to get into the PS5, and I could have had access to it days ago, but I just got access to it on the 20th. I think Breezy had access to it on like the 17th or something like that. So it's all good, but yeah, everything is cool, man. I'll tell you this, the game was fun. That game in person was fun.
Of course, you were out there in 49ers land. So have you been to a regular season game out there previously?
Not at Levi's. I've been to Cardinal Stadium and watched this in the regular season, but not at Levi's. When I went to Levi's, man, it was funny because I took my wife with me. Of course, I couldn't leave her behind, and she didn't wind up going to the game with me, but it was me and Silverado Kev. So it was cool to finally get a chance to meet him and hang out with him, man. I met Miss Debbie, Top Hat Deb. Took a picture with her. She's so cool. She's such a sweet person. And it's just crazy to see like the faithful in person and then see Levi Stadium, like it was nice, man, to see like so many people in the stands, and it's just a preseason game. And man, I'll tell you, when that touchdown pass was thrown, that whole place erupted. Like it was crazy, man. It was just so much fun, man. And so many tailgates, and I mean, hell, even in the moment, man, people offer you beers. Like, yeah, I'm good, but it's still it was a wonderful thing.
Dion, did you and Silverado, did you get recognized, and were people like, that's Dion off of the 49ers podcast, and that's Silverado Kevin? Did you get noticed when you were walking around?
There were other creators there that knew who we were, so that kind of situation. But I mean, we weren't any type of celebrities or anything like that. But yeah, we basically went in, and there were other creators there that knew who each one of us was. Silverado more so because he was on NBN like here and there, and then they know him from Real Talk Niner Talk as well. And then of course, some of the guys, they looked and they were like, "Nah, I know this dude. He be doing content." But and just kind of meeting up with people and starting to get to know other creators and stuff like that. That was cool. Everybody was super nice, and it was an all around good time, man. Like I didn't have not one negative thing to say about that experience.
Awesome, awesome. And I saw you also posted that you struck gold with a hotel and your wife loved
man.
it. So that always helps.
Yo, that hotel was amazing. It's called the AC Hotel. It was about a 20-minute walk to the stadium from the hotel. But it was a beautiful hotel, man. Like we checked in, concierge was nice. He automatically upgraded our room for free. You know what I'm saying? Like the bed was probably the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in the hotel. Hell, even the extra couches they had were nice. Flat screen smart TV. So I didn't have to pay for anything. I just could stream my HBO Max. Like it was a lot, man. It was dope. It was definitely a wonderful place, man. And then the showers, like one of those showers where like you could have it regular and you had a shower head that's kind of removable. And then they had the other joint where it like rains on you. And that's the dope one, man. You know?
Yeah, I've got a rain forest or whatever, that massive head thing, and which is good because I'm not a small guy, so I need plenty of water.
Yeah, but the game was fun. Yeah.
Now, when you see the stadium, obviously you've got where the boxes are one side and you've got that big bank the other. Were you in the sun or were you in the shade part of the stadium?
I was in the shade. I was on the home side. And we were literally like right by like where you get drinks, where you get beer and food. So we came in, and the craziest thing was like when we walked in. So I bought my tickets off StubHub. The app was tripping. So somebody figured out you got to log in through the Levi's app, log in through Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster would take you to StubHub, and then your tickets will come up. But we didn't figure that out for like at least a good 30 minutes. And I was like, man, I ain't about to miss this game. I paid for these tickets. Y'all gonna get me in this thing somehow, some way, or I'm gonna hop this damn gate and keep pushing. So we figured it out. But yeah, we were over in the shade, man. It wasn't really much in the sun. And it was an experience, man. Just experience the faithful like that. So many people being so cool, and you know, everybody just rocking out. You know, and the music, you know, just the scenery in general was a beautiful thing.
Interesting comment from John V. If we come to England, I bet they carry us on thrones. Now, thrones in this country aren't thrones, they're toilets. So if you want me to carry you and Dion around the toilet and Scott as well, me, Chewy, and all Freddie and everyone, all the English crew over here, we will gladly carry you around on toilets, John B. So that's not a problem.
In the open.
Yeah, exactly. What would you give for the whole experience, Dion? A mark out of 10. If you had to give it a mark out of 10, I know it was pre-season, but obviously there's still tailgate, there's still the same food, still the same atmosphere, etc. What would you give it as an overall grade? Out of 10, one being the lowest, 10 being the highest.
I give it probably about an 8.5. The one thing that I actually, you know what, I take that back. I had to give it a 10. I'm not a crazy food critic. You know, I'm a real basic dude when it comes to my food. Like I could eat, you know, Chick-fil-A and be solid. I don't care. You know, they had like a kiosk where you order your food. So it was like me and Kev had like chicken tenders and fries. And it's dope because the chicken tenders and fries come together as a package. The only issue is you have two separate lines, one for, you know, drinks and or alcohol, and then the other for food. So the ones for food were more in abundance and the one for alcohol was smaller. You know, the stadium is huge though, but yeah, it was fantastic experience. We came up through the club level and we weren't supposed to. And somebody kind of stopped us and like, hey, can we see your tickets? So I showed them and they were like, you guys aren't supposed to be here. And I was like, he's got a bum knee. Like this is our first time at the stadium. Like, is it cool if you just guide us through where to go, and we will gladly keep moving. And they were chill about it. You know, they were like, yeah, it's fine. Just go through here, go out the other end, and you'll be at your seats. So it was nice, you know what I'm saying, for us to figure that out, because I didn't know how. I looked at a graph of the stadium, but when you get in there, man, like, and take it all in, you don't really want to just go where you're supposed to go. You just want to look around, like, damn, this is big. It's it. I'm really here. Like, you have one of those moments. But it was definitely a 10 out. I'll give it a 10 out of 10, man. The experience was nice. The people were nice, you know, and to have a bunch of 49er fans there was awesome. You know, even the Chiefs fans were cool. They didn't really trip out. Nobody was being negative and mean. You know, if we did, you know, give each other some back and forth banter, it was all in good fun. So, yeah, it was a great experience.
Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I saw you were with Joe, and I saw you with 87 as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the statues outside. Did you go into the I want to call it an exhibition, but it's not an exhibition. What's it called? Museum. That's it. Did you do the museum tour?
I did not. I didn't do the museum tour. I just went to the game. A lot of the things I didn't do because I didn't want to wind up, you know, running my credit card through the roof. I bought the hat. The hat that you saw and the Trey Lance jersey you saw were bought that same day. Like, I walked in the lids, and I told my wife, I was like, I need like a game day hat, you know, like a real hat, you know what I'm saying, that says 49ers, something that I love. And I'm one of those people, if I see it, I like it, and it catches my eye, and it's 49ers, I buy it. I don't go question it. So I went over, had the person help me with the fitted, and got that, and I loved it. And then the Trey Lance jersey, I'd been looking for one. And in Arizona, they don't have any. All they have is Jimmy, Nick, and George. And I was like, I get it, you know, but I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to get the George Kittle jersey because everybody has a Kittle jersey. I don't want to get the Jimmy G jersey because he ain't even going to be here next year, you know. And I was like, you know, I had my reservations about Nick, and then, you know, all the crap that happened with his girlfriend recently. So I was like, I'm definitely not wearing that jersey. So I moved on to, you know, the Trey jersey. I saw that thing, man, went right in there, got it. And I was happy, man.
Was that the 75th anniversary one you got? The red?
It was, they weren't selling that one. That one I would have had to buy like at the stadium. And I know that would have ran me like $320 or something like that. And I wasn't ready to drop that kind of bread. So the Trey Lance jersey I bought only cost
as much as your wife was enjoying the hotel and the surroundings. If you'd have rocked up with a $320 jersey, I think you'd have been walking home from that joint, definitely. But no, I'm glad you had it was good to see the photos. As I was saying before we came on air, when I go, I need to, obviously, people that have been, I couldn't be in the sun. The sun would kill me. Literally.
Yeah, so what you want to sit on the home side.
So
you can sit on the home side and then I would
gladly pay more to sit in the shade.
Yeah, fine. And my tickets weren't that bad. I found both of my preseason tickets together. They only ran me like $200, and it was because it was preseason. So literally, like after taxes and everything, it was like 200 and some change.
To sit on the home side, sit on the home side, you're talking probably about $400 to $500 a ticket during a regular season game.
You're right. Yeah, Tony is 100% correct because I
looked at the prices because I was going to go to a game, but
skyrocket. Yeah,
whole thing with the requirements and stuff. I was like, hell no. Because then my luck, I'll get there and it's like, oh, you can't come in or whatever. You need this test, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'll watch it on my couch.
I kid you not. I didn't have any of that. Like they literally, they didn't even do any of that stuff to us, Tony. I'm gonna tell you right now, all of the COVID protocols that are there, but that shit went out the window, man. They wasn't fucking with people. They didn't care. They did not care.
Yeah,
but there were so many people in there with no mask on. Like, if that was the case, then everybody should have came out with COVID. And I can tell you for a fact, Nobody in there was sick. Nobody in there was coughing and sneezing. Nobody gave a shit. We were all in there happy and fucking drunk.
I love it.
That's how it was. Like, literally. They weren't thinking about that, man.
Here, for soccer games, and I'm going to my first Premier League soccer game next Saturday at Brighton. There are strict rules about this whole COVID thing, and that was one of my closing questions to you, Dion, about all of this. Was how was it with COVID? Did you have to do a test? Did you have to? Because in this country now we have an app that has got track and trace on it, and you have to check into every place you go. Whether people do it or not, I don't know, but I do. But I'm sad like that. And we have our own National Health Service app that gives you a COVID passport, and you're not allowed in anywhere without showing the fact that you've had both jabs, or if you've had a COVID test, again, you have to show that you've had it within 24 hours and you're negative. So there were no COVID checks. There was nothing like that. It was just...
We literally, let me tell you this. This is exactly how this wound up working. Everybody was outside doing their own thing. So we had no worries, no quarrels, no qualms. People were walking around, people just being themselves. So we're like, man, you know what? We're going to have fun. Everybody cool, nothing to be concerned about. So what happened? We get to the gate. They just tell you to, put your mask on. So, people coming through the gate, they were saying it, then they weren't. And I think because there were so many people, they were like, you know what? It's going to be super hard to bitch and complain and enforce that. And then you have people who drink beer. You got people eating food. So you're going to have to take it down. And it's not going to, and so for people who don't really care for it, they're not going to remember consistently, let me put this thing back on. You know what I mean? So, they didn't have you taking no tests. They weren't asking for vaccination cards. Like, they weren't doing all that. Literally, man, they'd tell you like a little bit real quick, put your mask on, and they walk away. And if you didn't have it on, they just left you alone. I think to them, it was more so like, you know what? We got butts in the seats. We getting this money. We don't give a shit about all that. Like, they literally did not bother people the whole game. It was a chill vibe.
It's funny what you say about wearing masks, because obviously when I go next Saturday, the company I work for, we've got 4 really good seats on the halfway line next to the director's box. We've got our own private lounge with other people, and you've got to wear a mask. But if you're eating or drinking, which of course you're going to be eating and drinking when you're inside, you can take the mask off, that's fine.
Yeah.
But as soon as you leave the lounge to go,
you have to put it back on.
Men's room or whatever, you've got to put it back on. And then as soon as you walk out back into the stadium, you can take it off. And I don't know how they can, like you say, if you're the first few in the stadium, they're going to make sure that, you've got your I mean, we have a thing on our phones, but whatever. They're going to ensure the first few people that go in there have got the right credentials and this, that, and the other. But then when the crowd builds up and people are like, I want to get in to see the game, whatever, they're just going to be like, just put your mask on, let me see your ticket, scan it, go, whatever. So it's going to be interesting. Michael, I'm going to see Brighton and Hove Albion versus Everton because I'm a Brighton fan. So, and my company sponsors or has sponsorship within the stadium. If you do watch the Premier League, if there's a goal at a certain end, the camera angle they have at the bottom, you'll see Brighton Tools and Fixings, and that's who I work for. And at one goal at one end, you can see it clearly, which is quite good because everyone sees it. So it's hang on, sorry, John's just put a comment in. Let's create our own fan party. Tony, can you see the field pretty good from your sofa?
Hey man,
I have a 70-inch TV, so it's pretty good. You just can't see all 22. So I see whatever is on the TV. That's it. But it's good.
That's good to hear. Tony, I know you've got to run. As ever, we always appreciate you coming in. You're always welcome. You are the voice of reason, and you are the GM of the Nothing But Niners, even though you don't like it. It's always funny. And you came on, you spoke QBs, and you didn't say no comment. And for that, I know we all appreciate you. If you want to have your final thoughts before you get out of here, Tony, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to watch them play tomorrow. Continue to watch them develop, watch these guys compete, see who steps up. There's some positives on the guys that are in the bottom end of the roster that are really making a strong push and making names for themselves that I'm really excited to see and happy that I see them doing it. But listen, Jimmy, Trey, you can go back and forth all day. I want to see this team win. I love the 49ers. I don't love Jimmy. I don't love Trey. I just want to see this team win and win number 6. But I will say this, in my opinion, what I think about the situation. But listen, it comes down, they just gave Kyle all this money. They gave him a huge extension for another 6 years. It's up to him, and it's his job to make this team go now. He got the guy he wanted. He has the guy he had. So – they just got to rock out, keep doing it, and see what it brings you. That's pretty much all I got. Thank you, Nick, for having me on. Guys, thanks for letting me on, talking with you guys. And that's pretty much all I have, Nick. I got to go do daddy duty.
Okay, Tony.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Tony.
Unfortunately, she didn't. She had the chance to come on the camera and do a photo bomb. I saw her head in the background, but she didn't take the bait because you obviously cut her off at the pass, so she couldn't come on. But I appreciate you, Tony. Love what you do on the Nothing But Niners. If you're not following him, what is your Twitter handle, Tony?
NJ Niner Fan 499. Anybody you want to talk about football, hit me up. It's no big deal. I don't care. I love talking Niners. Jump on with Dion on his show, whatever. I just like talking 49ers football. That's all.
Definitely. Tony, I appreciate you taking your time out your busy day. Hope you have a good time with your daughter. And, we'll catch up soon, buddy. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Tony.
Now, I saw that Chewbacca, a.k.a. UK Colts fan, had a football in his hand, and I wondered whether he was going to recreate the famous moment that Carl. Have you seen that video, Chewy, of Carl's rant when the 49ers went up to 3? Have you seen that with his football throwing skills?
I've not seen that video. No,
mate.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Carl, is there any way you can find that video on YouTube and share it and bring it into the show? Just a special guest appearance, because it is the funniest.
Not without a copyright claim on it, you can't.
What, a copyright claim of you throwing a football against your settee? I don't think so.
I think that's a fancy way of him saying I don't want to go look for it right now.
No, he doesn't want to do it. But I have been in contact with the person
it's two words. It starts in F and ends in F.
It's all right. I'm not monetized. I couldn't give a fuck. You can say fuck, shit, piss, whatever you like, because it's going to get blocked. Trust me. And I have been in contact with my person that did my intro. They're going to do me an outro and another intro, and she is getting you throwing the ball at the sofa in one of the intros. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you better get that checkbook ready.
There you go, man. Carl ain't playing. He about to he about to run your pockets, man. As we say in LA, he's gonna run your pockets.
It's gonna cost you more money to do those intros and outros than it is me to do up my spare room and make it into a podcast room. I know what I want to put my time and effort into. Okay.
Doesn't matter because I need to have that moment captured for everyone to see every time I either start or finish a show, Carl. And it is classic. It is. And I won't have to, I don't need the sound on. I don't need to have you speaking. It's just the way you just go and launch the ball and take it out on your couch. I mean, I felt sorry for the couch. And you actually had more velocity on that pass than either Cam or the other two.
Shots fired.
Okay.
Shots fired.
Okay.
And
So-
Carl hit the target too.
Unlike Mahomes, because he got picked yesterday. As I said, God throws interceptions occasionally, Scott. So, Scott, now you've sat here patiently. We're an hour and 40 in. We're probably go for another 20 minutes. You had something you said you wanted to get off your chest, and you, I don't know what the subject is. You've been teasing it to me, and I want to know what you have to say to the group, because you said something was going on, something was happening. Oh, wrong person. I don't want me in the spotlight. I need to get. I don't know how. Cole, do you know how to put Mr. Smug full screen and us along the side?
Oh, you don't want to do that to the viewers of the show.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Look. Go.
Hey.
Go.
Speaking of throwing things, I can't believe Dion hasn't thrown that damn controller yet. If I was me playing video games, that fucking controller would have been thrown into the couch or into the floor probably 3 or 4 times by now. He must be a lot better than I am.
No, they cost too much damn money to be throwing these controllers. This ain't like back in the day with the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and stuff. I could throw those controllers because they were cheap. These things cost you about a good $40-$50 each.
Gotcha. No, I'm going to preface this with I am not as nuanced on breaking down quarterbacks or film or plays as your buddy Tony is. But, you know, I obviously watched the Chiefs and the Niners game, Trey Lance. And I'm just wondering, like, was everybody watching the same game I was watching? It's preseason. I'm not going to come out here and claim that he's never going to be anything. But if I was a Niners fan, I wanted to see more out of Trey Lance than I saw in that game. He had several throws where he missed the target by a wide margin for an NFL quarterback. The long bomb touchdown he threw, it looked to me like it was pretty wobbly and it was somewhat underthrown. If the cornerback hadn't taken a terrible route and actually ran in away from the receiver, he had to slow down and kind of turn and catch it in the breadbasket. He didn't definitely, I wouldn't say that was an over-the-shoulder in-stride throw. He took some bad sacks. He had a fumble. I think PFF gave him a 49 passer grade. I don't know. I was less than impressed. So I don't know what your all's take on that is. I'm not trying to make some proclamation that the guy's never going to be a good quarterback because he struggled in one preseason game in one half. But I mean, aside from the blown coverage touchdown, the guy led his team to what, 3 points and a little over a half of football. I see everybody that's online. They're talking like, oh, see, this is why he should be playing, and Jimmy needs to sit. And to me, he didn't show that at all. I didn't see that.
If you want, I mean, I can rebuttal that and tell you exactly why these things went on, why they happened, and how everything happened, just from seeing it from a first person perspective. So what I'll tell you is, did he look like a starting NFL quarterback? No, he did not. As far as all of the things that happened, I anticipated that happening. I didn't expect Trey Lance to come out and light it up. I didn't expect them to let him run, and I definitely didn't expect him to be, you know, an all-star at the gate. I feel like somebody's got like a lot of background noise or something. I don't know. But for me, my thing is, I get it. He was not the best watching the game live, he made about 2 or 3 questionable throws, and I'm just keeping it a buck. Number one, Brandon Ayuk dropped that ball. Number two, Richie James with his worthless hands dropped a pass that hit him right where it was supposed to hit him, and then wouldn't go up for a pass that he should have, which almost was intercepted. So as far as Trey Lance goes, was his debut spectacular? Not by any stretch of the imagination. But what I saw from him was good enough for me from a guy who hadn't played football for a year. So while everyone critiques him and they look and they go, you know, this is really what you want to be your future, and they seem unsure, the reason that I seem confident is because I saw him do what he was supposed to do. He did what Jimmy didn't do. He did go downfield. Yeah, the ball was a little wobbly, but I can tell you this, it got there. And when it got there, it hit him at the right time, and he was able to go ahead and take those strides. The DB was right on him, literally right on him when he caught that ball. So he had a chance to tackle him. So there was no reason that he shouldn't have. And he still beat the defensive back. So that was a little bit of Trey. That was a little bit of Trent Sherfield. But the other plays where he took the sacks, probably about 2 of those sacks were on him. The reason being is the other 2 sacks were on the offensive line. You got to think about it. You really think a kid is going to show up and show out with a makeshift offensive line? We all know that our offensive line is not deep. Our second and third stringers are not anything to scoff about. Like, we shouldn't be out there praising them. Now, as far as the other side of the ball with our defensive line, yeah, we're deep there. They played fairly well. But you guys kept your defensive starters in, and it was easy to go ahead and go against a bunch of backups and destroy everybody. And we all know Mike McGlinchey ain't no damn pass blocker, so I'm not going to give anyone credit for beating him. You know, we all know that's going to happen. So as far as from what I saw and what he gave me for not playing football for a good year and a couple months, I was satisfied with that because at least he did some things to show he was competent. Is he going to make mistakes? Yeah, but you can't expect a dude who didn't play football for a year, played in a crap conference, to come out and ball out and just be this perfect NFL star. If that's what people were anticipating, you know what I'm saying, then I feel bad for them for actually thinking that was going to be a thing, because it was not. What I saw from Trey was definitely some things that he has to clean up. You know, and yeah, once the pocket collapses, you do revert back to what you know. You know, would I like to see him run? Yes, but I pretty much was sure that wasn't in the game plan, because I think Kyle wanted him to get used to the play action stuff and everything like that, running the bootlegs and all those types of things. So I think this game honestly was more about seeing what we had on the backup offensive line versus playing with the, you know, trying to make Trey Lance look good. Because when we even trotted out Jimmy, the only starters were Lakin, Daniel Brunskill, and Mike McGlinchey. We had, I think, there was a backup center because there was no Alex Mack, and Trent Williams didn't play in that game. I saw him standing there in street clothes. And Jalen Moore started at left tackle. So you got to think about it like you put a makeshift offensive line in front of somebody and you expect them just to shine because they're a mobile QB, and their coach is telling them, don't run, you know, throw the ball, look to throw before you run, and that's what he does. And he hasn't played football in a year. He played in a crap conference. Like, you're putting too much expectations on him. You know, for him to give you a touchdown, he basically gave us 9 points. Long story short. And then there were a couple of times where players didn't help him out by dropping the ball or not even trying. You know, so seeing that firsthand, to me, he did what he was supposed to do. I expected pretty much what he gave me. I didn't go out there with overly high expectations, like he's the number 3 overall pick. You know, if he doesn't come out and throw, you know, 4 touchdowns and run for another one, then he's a bust and Jimmy should sit. Those people that say that they're not real fans. I'm gonna use Mike McGlinchey's analogy. They're couch quarterbacks. They watch the game from home and think they know everything. They don't take a look at things and see for what it was, you know, why these things didn't really necessarily work out. And you can't look at that offensive line. You can't tell me that that was the greatest thing for him to be behind. He was constantly under duress. He constantly had to move. These dudes are getting beat left and right. You know, so what does that say to us as 49er fans? We need to make sure the backups on our offensive line are competent, because if somebody goes down, we're screwed. But as far as his performance, he gave all he could give with the allotted time that he did have. Yes, the ball was wobbly in the air on the touchdown to Trent Sherfield, but I'll take a wobbly touchdown to Trent Sherfield over Jimmy trying to force the ball downfield and not making good, not being able to actually put it there. No, he didn't hit him fully in stride, but on the other side of the field, that's your guys' job. That's Pat Mahomes' job. He hits people in stride like that. We knew Pat Mahomes had a cannon arm the minute he was coming out of college. Hell, I think it was like the first play that he ever had was a ridiculous ass bomb down the field. So some people that it takes time to develop, and he'll develop over time and he'll look a little bit better, but I'm anxious to watch the game tomorrow to see what he's done and what he's worked on and if he's improved, and to see him a little bit more. I'd love to see him for the same amount of snaps, a good 20 to 30 snaps. I know PFF gave him a low grade, but screw PFF. They give everybody a low grade. It doesn't matter.
I don't get PFF sometimes because it's really weird. I will come back to you, Dion. I've got one question to ask. We got a comment here from Callie, which I'm guessing is to the Witness Protection Program, Mr. Smug. Hold up. Please explain to me how that TD pass by Lance was a blown coverage. The defender on Sherfield was actually holding Sherfield and he brushed off the corner back.
Exactly.
No, when you go back and watch the play, there's a safety over there and there's a cornerback. And the cornerback, I'm trying to think of his name. I don't know. I think he's probably a second stringer. I can't think of his name right now. Trent Green, who does the Chiefs preseason games, he's the color guy. He did a beautiful job of explaining what the defender did wrong. He goes, that's going to be a learning experience for him. And yeah, he definitely took the wrong. He definitely did not do what he was supposed to do, which is how Sherfield got behind him. So was it a blown coverage in the sense that the guy was wide open with nobody in the TV screen 20 yards downfield? No. But was it something that you're going to see from most starting caliber cornerbacks and secondaries in the NFL? Definitely not.
Well, then blame that on the DB then. Blame that on him and not having, better coverage skills. No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
On him.
But it's not. But it's
if the ball was underthrown and the DB didn't goof up and didn't do the wrong thing, I don't know if that play is even a completion or a touchdown. That's my point. I mean,
don't
turn and slow down and catch it down here.
The issue is don't take away from the good that he had just to go ahead and give him a bad grade. Like that's what I'm seeing here is you're basically saying, it was a fluke for him to throw that TD. It wasn't a fluke. The play happened. The DB didn't do what he was supposed to, and the touchdown was made. If that's the case, we could call that on a ton of different things. On some things that Pat Mahomes does, some things that Tom Brady does. There's a bunch of different plays where people take poor angles. People don't do the things. Their fundamentals are all screwed up, and those things don't work out right. So if that's the case, you can break down any play and say, well, the DB should have done X, Y, and Z. You know how much film you could run through and do that? You could even say that there are 90% of the interceptions thrown in the game are opportunistic interceptions because somebody's in the right place at the right time. It's an interception nonetheless. So for me, what I'm saying is you're basically saying, hell, since DB was trash, that's how he got that TD. No, he threw the ball. Trent caught it. He went for the TD. That's the end of that one. Like, you can't just say the DB took a poor angle, so he got lucky.
No,
I get it.
The point I'm trying to make is the throw he made. If the defender doesn't make a bad play, the throw that he made isn't good enough.
Scott,
he made it for what he could because he didn't. If you look at the way he threw the ball, he wasn't set properly.
Pass on purpose.
He wasn't.
The defender made a bad play.
No. What I'm telling you is his mechanics were off on the throw. I stood there. I was there in person, and I watched it. His mechanics were off when he threw. If Trey Lance were to set his feet properly on that throw, then he would have hit him in stride. But he was moving and shifted and had to stop and just throw right off the bat, strictly based on the fact that he still had defenders coming at him. He had to move the pocket because basically the whole pocket broke down. So he had to shift out. So he's throwing that ball across the field with his feet not properly planted right. I know what I watched. I guarantee
that play was
you.
Designed for him to roll out to the left and throw. And I mean, the second he takes the snap, he starts rolling out. I mean, that's kind of one of the things
He
that they
started
like
to roll. Yeah, because we like to bootleg a lot. We like to make the quarterback move.
I don't think
but
he was scrambling out of a collapsed pocket and trying to make a throw like a broken play. I mean, if the play was designed for him to roll out to the left and then throw the ball. So I
look at it like this.
I'm just trying to say that if I'm a 49ers fan, I wanted to see better out of Trey Lance.
And I can understand that sentiment. You know what I mean? For me, I'm not gonna put high expectations on him because the dude doesn't really understand what he's doing yet. He a rookie. He gonna make rookie mistakes. So to give him, for me to put that kind of pressure on a young kid like that, it's just not gonna work. Nobody's going to nobody's gonna go out there and shot Trey. Like Trevor Lawrence looked like hot garbage. So did Zach Wilson. None of these quarterbacks look ridiculously great. It looked like Justin Fields was looking to run before he passed. You know what I'm saying? So you have to allow people to develop over time. And I go back to a video I made on it, period. Every great quarterback goes through learning things. Peyton Manning was 4-11. I think he threw like 30-something interceptions in his first year.
Rookie touchdown, rookie interception record for Peyton Manning.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you putting some lofty goals on a young kid who barely had time in a true pro system. You know, for me as a fan, I'm a diehard 49er fan. I'm not upset. If there are other 49er fans out there that are upset, you can't put them kind of goals on somebody like that. You know what I mean? You got to look at what you're getting, what you have, basically what you're starting with, and what to expect. If you really expected Trey Lance to go out there and just shit on the Chiefs, you are sadly mistaken. That was a bad thing for you to do yourself. I know I wasn't. Yeah, I definitely wasn't. But I'm saying they're 49er fans. You were saying they're 49er fans out there that were.
But like I said, there was just some throws that were off target and the wobbly pass.
They were
taking the strip sack. I mean, that was on him where he had the ball and he was hanging.
He had the ball. He had the ball out. Oh yeah,
so, I mean,
he made a ton of rookie mistakes. The
49ers put a lot of pressure on him by trading away all the stuff they traded away and moving up to 3 to get him too. I mean, I think. I mean, I don't know that a team does all that to go up to get a guy that necessarily maybe is as much of a project.
I don't think he's a project. I wouldn't label him that, and I wouldn't label him a bust. There are going to be people out there that will see that first preseason game and give him those tags and those names. The reason that I state that is strictly based on the fact that we have yet to see what he really has, you know, when he's behind the starting offensive line.
Sure.
If he did this, I'm be 100% honest with you. If he did this behind our starting offensive line as it should be presently constructed, I would have been worried a little bit.
Right.
I would have been like, I don't know what's going on here because this line is solid. There's no reason. Right. The only excuse you may be able to pull out the bag is that the line is still partially new and they aren't one cohesive unit. Because usually when you have a working offensive line where everybody knows what everybody does, then yeah, it's fine. But if you have a situation where you got an offensive line and, you know, you have Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Daniel Brunskill, and Mike McGlinchey, there's no reason that shit shouldn't work. I'm sorry. That to me is a pretty damn good offensive line. It's top 10 in the league. And if he performed like crap behind that, right, and those dudes were gelling and they were doing what they were supposed to do, and you could review the plays, then yeah, you got to start looking at Trey Lance going, I don't know if we should have went up to 3 to go get you.
And again, I want everybody to understand, I want the guy to be good. I'm not someone who is trying to be a hater on him at all.
No, you made valid points. That's never taken it.
Most of the reaction I saw after the game and the hype, I think my burner account that Nick likes to call it there, pointed out, there's people saying, oh, he looks like Mahomes 2.0 in camp. And the reaction to what I saw after the game just didn't match up to what I saw in the game.
That's
what I was kind of wanting to see maybe what you guys thought about what you saw out of him, because I didn't see all that, you know, the hyperbole or this is why Jimmy needs to go right there. You know, the bomb, the bomb was thrown in the defender, kind of made a stupid play on it. Give him credit for making the play. I'm not trying to say the dude threw an 80-yard touchdown pass. Okay, it's not. I don't want to.
No small task.
Definitely not trying to take away, because you're right, and that's like that is what Mahomes and some of and Peyton Manning. That's what they do, right? That's kind of what makes them great. When the defender, it's kind of like baseball. The great hitters, they make the pitchers pay for the mistake. They don't hit just the hard pitches. When the pitcher makes a mistake, they hit it.
They knock it out the park.
They hit it over the fence. So
no, I like what you said, Scott.
I guess my point is I was a little underwhelmed by what I
saw. There's no Mahomes. Don't, for people out there doing that, stop doing that. Don't do that. Don't put them kind of goals on him, man. I look at people and I'm like, y'all really out here just dicking around on the internet. You can't do that, man. You can never.
What did you think,
Sorry,
Nick?
No, I'm just making my last point, but it don't put lofty goals like that on somebody. You can't. That's like they're saying that Mac Jones was going to be the next Tom Brady. That's a lofty goal. This man's been to 10 fucking Super Bowls and won 7. Mac Jones barely won a fucking NCAA championship. And just as a quick note, anyone who's ever won an NCAA championship, to note, has not won a Super Bowl. Just so you know, it is what it is. But go ahead, Nick. My bad.
I gave Trey Lance a solid B+. I mean, you had Tom Compton out there, the only fucking lineman that can get concussion by just fucking walking around the locker room. That's how bad that was. It was trash. And trust me, he definitely did get a concussion, and he hadn't even done anything. Deal back me up on this. Chewy, I know you were trying to chime in when they were talking about obviously that pass and stuff. What is it you wanted to say when you wanted to come in?
I wanted to get in because I agree with both of them, and so I want to put points to both of you guys. I'll start with you, Scott. If Mahomes threw an awful pass for the touchdown in the Super Bowl win, do you care? There's only one stat that matters, and that's a dub. And for Dion and the 49ers fans, progress, when are people going to learn progress is not linear? Look at Tom Brady. Who would have said he was won 7 Super Bowls when he was the last pick of the draft or whatever? Football is a crazy thing, but there's only 2 things that matter: is get the dub and progress is not linear. They're the only 2 rules that apply to football. They were sort of the points I wanted to get across, because it's talking, we went through the whole Andrew Luck saga and him retiring and talking about underwhelming quarterbacks in Jacoby Brissett. It's really hard to get it, but also Trey Lance is that blockbuster guy. It's not his fault, but if he doesn't start making plays, the crowd will start turning, and that is where I agree with Scott. He's no matter what, you don't want to put it on those young guys because it can be quite damaging. But you are the blockbuster trade, and you've got to go out and earn that name title, and that's as harsh as the world is.
That's the issue. Dion, I know you've got to go. I've just got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Before you go. So you're in the game, you're watching the game, you're at the game, and he throws that 80-yard pass, and then things start. The defense got changed up, and he did get a bit exposed. What was the overall consensus as the game went on towards Lance? Was it, for fuck's sake, why is he doing that? Why is he taking this sack? Shit, he's fumbled. He's done. What was the overall consensus as they were, as it was getting worse? If you see what, not worse, but
I understand.
Going like they thought it was going to go. The fans, obviously.
Basically, what the fans were seeing was him learning on the job. That's basically what everyone was seeing. The overall consensus is that he had a lot to work on as far as, like I said, foot mechanics. And that's the case. I like the fact that he went out there and he didn't go ape shit. I honestly do. You know why? Because it shows me he's human. If somebody would have said he's Patrick Mahomes 2.0 and he went out there and did some Patrick Mahomes as shit, people would expect that every fucking game and it would have just ruined things. And I don't want that. I want him to grow and learn as a normal quarterback. I don't need him coming out. I think the only quarterback that I've ever seen that started out and just had a blockbuster season was Ben Roethlisberger. I think Ben came out and he was winning, if I'm not mistaken. It sucks we don't have shit. I'm missing his name. It escapes me. The other guy that used to come on, he was a Steelers fan. If he was
Freddie.
there, he could have told me. Yeah, Fred. Yeah, he would have known, because I believe that Ben Roethlisberger is one of the very few quarterbacks that was drafted. He just went on a streak of winning. So I didn't want that. I wanted him to fumble and make a couple of mistakes. Not literally fumble, but I wanted him to show everybody, hey, they went up to go get me. I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to improve on them. So that the overall consensus in the stadium, nobody was upset. I didn't hear people as we were leaving going, we wasted picks on this guy. Jimmy should be the starter. I mean, literally, when that touchdown was thrown, that whole stadium erupted. I literally exerted so much energy, I damn near passed the fuck out. Because I was just so happy to see an 80-yard fucking bomb from somebody on the squad, not named CJ Beathard. And it was just, it was a great time, man. But nobody there gave me any vibe, because I even asked a few people and everybody was like, this is kind of what we expected. So everybody at the stadium to me seemed to be fans that had realistic expectations and didn't put the high amount on him. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, he's going to be here. It is what it is. Let's just do what we got to do and keep on pushing.
That's definitely interesting, Dion. I appreciate your take on that. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next game, if there are the same sort of issues or worse, whether people then still are pushing for him to start versus Jimmy or whoever. I mean, the third game, I think, is going to be the litmus test for all of this as to where Kyle sees Trey, etc., moving forward. But anyway, Dion, thanks for your time. I appreciate you coming in. Hope you get better at Madden. I am going to be buying it probably next week when I get paid, and I'll download it and play it and still be crap.
I'm going to keep trying.
Exactly. It's one of those frustrating games. See you again next week. Dion will send the link out. Take care. Have a good week, brother.
Have a good week. Yeah, thanks. Good chatting with you guys. Hey, man. Hey, and Scott, keep that going. That was a damn good debate. I like that. Yeah. I like that, Scott. He had some damn good points. I was like, shit. All right, man. He's got me on that one. Fuck. Okay, that works. That's a great debate, man. Hey, and good luck to you during the season for you, Scott. And for UK Colts fan, I'm going to pray for you, brother. I'm going to pray for you, man, because I don't know what you about to do without the best guard in football, Ed Door.
He's back quarterback. Quentin Nelson's back week 1.
He is?
Yeah, he's back week 1.
Hey, turn up for that, man. Now, who the hell is your quarterback before I get out of here?
It's probably going to be Jacob Eason, future Super Bowl champion Jacob Eason to all of you.
I like this guy. He got a lot of confidence in a no-name ass quarterback. You've earned my respect for being able to say that with a straight face.
I'd be calling Phillip Rivers back. Hey, bro.
As I said earlier, Dion, when he said that the Colts are winning the Super Bowl this year, I was going to do mandatory drug tests for the guests that come on this show beforehand.
Quite possibly. Look, I mean, we all every now and then need a head check when we think of shit like that. Look like this. I'm gonna say this, and I know my wife is probably gonna throw some shit at me. It's like a chance of the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. It's not gonna happen.
I think the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a good
Jerry
one,
Jones believes it. Take it easy, bro. He can still throw all his money at it, and it's not going to happen. Dion, take care. We're going to be wrapping this up shortly anyway. Appreciate your time. Get better at Madden. See you next week. Take care. Have a good day. There you go. There's Dion. I haven't seen the second. Is the second episode of Hard Knocks out yet on Game Pass? I haven't looked.
Hey, to the viewer that said that the Tyreek Hill play in the Super Bowl was a blown coverage? No, that was Tyreek Hill juking the shit out of the cornerback. Go back and watch that play. He freaking puts a move on him, inside fake, and then cuts back outside, and the defender just completely fucking falls for it and keeps running
But
to the middle of the field.
To be fair as well, that may have been Richard Sherman whose legs left him at least.
No, I think that was Ward. I think was on that play.
No, I
Sherman
think he
was
was the safety. I think that did something and the coverage was blown. But as I've always said, Scott, if they weren't choke holding Nick Bosa all the way through that game, Mahomes would have had more than a turf toe. He would have had the shit.
I'm gonna hunt down the video clip that somebody, I can't find it, somebody put together of all the holding on a lot of the big run plays in the Super Bowl. They were letting both teams hold in that game. I mean, I don't care. To me, I want less penalties. I don't care even if it's on the other team. The Chiefs game last night, they kept throwing. I think there was a stretch where they threw a flag on 4 or 5 straight plays, and I'm thinking, first of all, it's a fucking preseason game. Okay, like second of all, people want to watch people play. Unless the guy has got a handful of jersey and he's completely beaten on the play, I just leave the flag in your pocket and let the guys play football.
Yeah, I've told you, Scott, it must be really hard being an offensive lineman for Kansas City, because you're having to go between Arrowhead and the WWE compound to learn all those fucking chokeholds. That's half of why you never see all the starting offensive line for the Chiefs in preseason, because they're busy with like The Rock and all those other dudes over at WWE learning the latest chokehold moves and just generally fucking people up for no reason and not getting called by the refs. So it's, they get paid a lot of money, and it must take a toll on them flying backwards and forwards between WWE headquarters and Arrowhead. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. And you also, I did notice, and I haven't watched the Super Bowl again because I can't bear to watch the last 7 minutes. I'll watch the rest of it if I ever get round to it. But every picture I see, you see Nick Bosa being choked. And you can't Photoshop that shit. You cannot Photoshop it. And I pray to God that the Chiefs and the Niners meet in this year's Super Bowl. And
I do too. Trust me.
Dee Ford, and we've got Bosa, and there's no injuries on either team, so there's no excuse. And the refs call all the choke holds, and we get 10 yards, 15 yards, unsportsmanlike. And we'll get a touchdown just off your fouls on one drive. So that'd be fantastic, Scott. I love it.
Nick, are you going to be able to have me back on the show after you lose the second Super Bowl? How smug do you think I'm going to be then?
You know what, right? I will always have you on, Scott, because, and we go back and forth on Twitter, and it is funny.
It is fun.
But, I think we appreciate each other's teams for what they are, and all joking aside, they blew that Super Bowl, and it wasn't Jimmy. The defense was knackered. They couldn't get field position, and Mahomes does what Mahomes does. Last year was different. I know he was injured, and I still, the line was pretty fucked up, and Tom Brady did Tom Brady things, and
that was a mixture. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was still amazing in that game. If you go back and watch it, we've talked about this, and we're at 2 hours now. I understand, but that was a mixture of poor coaching and injuries along the line. That really, the Chiefs they didn't adjust at all. They didn't have the line. They didn't have the protection. The Buccaneers were covering everything deep, and the Chiefs just kept beating their head against that wall trying to do what they had done, and they couldn't do it. And they got their ass.
But that's very similar to what you're saying with the 49ers, because up until the point where Tyreek Hill called that pass, there wasn't a lot going on at the back. And then all of a sudden, a blown coverage, and it opens it all up, and then the floodgates opened. But look, the burner account, His hands are still down. I still think it's definitely his burner account. I haven't been able to watch the Super Bowl from last year since it happened. I was amazed by that. I must admit that result. I never thought that was going to happen.
I think that was the worst game of football I've ever watched, that Super Bowl. That was awful.
What, even worse than when the Seahawks blew out the Broncos?
Even worse. It was just, I don't know whether it was just because of the year we all had and what's going on around the world, but you always want to see a close Super Bowl. Because after the time, your team's not there and you're in neutral watching it. So you either want to see Kansas City for the next 10 years get smoked or an NFC team will set them. But it's just, when it was that, there was had your backup oil line out there, if that. And it was murder, wasn't it? If it could have been a crime, they would have got arrested for that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think, as you say, Harrison, you do need, but you don't need a boring Super Bowl. And I don't think you're ever going to see a shootout kind of Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But from a neutral point of view, and obviously Scott being a good friend, I thought it was fucking hilarious that Tampa killed him. Sorry, I just do. I can't help it. But as a spectacle and as a neutral, if Scott wasn't on the show, I'd have switched it off after probably the third quarter, not even got that far in. I don't like blowouts, and that's probably one of the reasons as well. I don't really watch a lot of college, if I'm honest, if at all, because why waste 3 hours of your day or evening, as it is here, to see someone win 58-7? If it's 58-38, then beautiful, because at least you've seen a game, and I don't like uncompetitive games.
The only time 58-7 is fun is when your team is the one scoring the 58.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you say that, Scott, but
I do.
Again, I'd switch it off. After 35-0, I'd switch it off because you know they're going to win.
If the 49ers were throttling someone in the Super Bowl 50-7, you wouldn't turn it off, Nick.
And also your alcohol content goes down when there's a blowout.
I don't need any reason for my alcohol levels to stay the same. Trust me, I don't care if it's a blowout. We're losing. If we're losing, it gets worse, and I drink more. If we're winning, it just plateaus. I watched the 49ers score 55 points against the Bengals, I think it was, in the Super Bowl. Or was it Denver? One of the anyway.
It's Chargers, wasn't it?
Or the Chargers.
Or the Broncos.
So, and as you keep telling me, Scott, and keep tweeting at me, it was so long ago, it all fades into the memory. But as I had an argument with someone last night who put a stat up about the Chargers, etc. And I'm like, come back when Mahomes has won 4 or 5 or even 7, and then, I'll talk about it. Chewy, I know you've got to dip out. We are going to be going shortly anyway. So I'll just get everyone's final thoughts and then we'll close up. We will be back next week. We will be talking more pre-season and what happened, and who knows, there could still be some QB battles, or we don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting. Carl, what are your final thoughts before we get up out of here? And it was Denver. Thank you very much, Michael. And the Chargers, apparently.
Final thoughts. We have a proper QB battle. Cam Newton and Mac Jones are still going to fight it out, but it's still going to be Cam Newton starting regardless of what you think or what anybody else says. It's a new dawn happening in New England, and I am absolutely pleased to see what I am seeing is progress. This is what I wanted to see more than anything else. And on a different standpoint, this week I will be doing the AFC East and the AFC South Battle of the Division shows. So make sure you keep your notifications up on my YouTube channel, 2 Feet in Bounds. That's my Twitter name in the box. And so I'll be doing that, and then hopefully Craig will be back on with me at some point once he's got off his now that he's now been hitched. And yeah, we will move on into the regular season. Plus, we'll also be doing Sunday night live watch-alongs as well on my channel. So you'll be getting a lot of invites from all different fans coming on to have their say and have their reaction show. It's a bit like Arsenal Fan TV, but without the humour. So,
and people going blood and fam all the time. Chewy, closing thoughts, my friend.
We don't know who our quarterback's going to be week 1. It's looking more and more like it's going to be Jacob Eason. Good old Sammy Erling will probably go down to the practice squad. I can't really offer much more apart from Quitty pay. I know we haven't been talking the ends, but this guy is going to break the rookie stat record this year. He is a monster, so look out for that. And the Colts are winning the Super Bowl. It's that simple.
Drugs test, definitely. Next time you're on, please forget COVID tests. Drug tests need to be taken. Chewy, it's been great having you on again, sir. Don't be a stranger. Anytime you got a Saturday free, we got 17 weeks, 18 weeks. We've still got pre-season to go. Just fire me a DM, sir. I'll get you back on. Always good to get your input on the Colts fans. Just let everyone know what your Twitter handle is before we close.
Just search on Twitter at UK Colts fans. We'll come up, and obviously you can find everything from there.
There you go. And as I say, hit me and Carl up on the DMs if you want to come on. If I don't respond, he definitely will. Mr. Smug, your closing thoughts.
I'm excited. I'm going to the Chiefs game next Friday night. Final preseason game, number 3, against the Minnesota Vikings. And then the week after that is the home opener against the Cleveland Browns, man. Next 2 weeks, I'm going to be back at Arrowhead watching Chiefs football. And it's just – I didn't go to a game last year. They suspended the season tickets. And I didn't want to go deal with all the hassles and the regulations and 20% capacity with all these little pods of fans. I just didn't intrigue me. So I wasn't really interested in going. So it's been – well over a year, but a couple of years at this point. I think the last Chiefs game I went to was probably the AFC Championship game against the Titans. So looking forward to getting back out there and listening to the roar of the crowd and watching some live football. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'll look forward to seeing some pictures and videos of you out there, and definitely we'll get your takes on what you saw, obviously, because TV, you don't get that perspective. So it's always good to have someone in the stands to obviously see what's going on. My final thoughts are, I'm looking forward to the next Niners preseason game. Are we going to see a more expanded Jimmy offense? Are we going to see more of Trey Lance? Are we going to see Studfeld in there more? Only Kyle Shanahan knows, but whatever happens, preseason's preseason. I don't judge it too much. I'm more interested in what happens week 1 against Detroit. Don't forget, we are live every Saturday throughout the season and pre-season. Usual guests come on. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you want to come on. Hit me up on the DMs on Twitter. We'll get you on at Shank Club NFL, or you can do Carl at 2 feet in. I can't read that. TFIB UK 20. Blimey. Should have just kept it to 2 feet in bounds. It's a lot easier. My name's Alfred. That's been Carl, Mr. Smug, Dion, Tony, everyone that came on today. Appreciate you. Hopefully get Ivan back on next week. He did have some issues with his internet, because I do want to hear his thoughts, because he knows his stuff. But apart from that, have a safe week. Everyone stay safe out there. Shank Club NFL, we will be back. Same back time, same back channel. Enjoy your week, guys.
Let's get ready to